Hello folks, Luther here. Going to cover our example invoice. Now I know I talked about this in another video briefly, but I wanted to give you a little bit more detail. So let's have a look. Go ahead and grab it here. This should work in any Excel spreadsheet, obviously Microsoft Office or another spreadsheet program. Should be able to import it no problem. Didn't put anything special in here. Basically, you list yourself as the vendor, all your information, contact information, and your name. On the right-hand side is the client. Go ahead and put your client information there. And then generate an invoice number. I usually like to start it with just some number like 4 or 6 or whatever. I like to mix the numbers around and then start the last 3 numbers as the actual count on the invoices. And in this case, I did it 501. So, if you're using a software, it generates it automatically. In the past, when I used to do this manual invoicing, I would have to keep, the list of invoices with the date and the invoice number so I knew what sequence to give, and then as well as a list to track invoices open or closed. That's 3 files to do the job that one software can do. So I recommend that you look into that. QuickBooks has some free software. I think it's the really basic version, but it'll give you invoicing. It'll make your life a little easier. So go ahead and check that out. Next is the schedule of services rendered. This is where we're going to list our services and our products. You're going to put a quantity and a description, a unit cost, and then the cost will be auto-calculated. So I'm going to list this as the Premium Social Profile Package, and let's say I close them on with a presentation or a proposal on social media, Facebook, Twitter, a blog. And I put that in one package. It's a package deal. So it's a bundle. So I'm not going to itemize that. Unless they ask me to itemize it on my invoices, then that's when I'll itemize. But for now, we're just going to bundle it in one, and we're going to say it's $297. And then, obviously 1 times 297 is 297. So that's the cost for that. Now, so let's say you find a deal for some high-value backlinks, and you are going to give them 20 of them. So let's say you're paying 15, so I charge them, say, 65. Bit of a markup, and that cost would be calculated out 1300s here. So now in an SEO or a keyword buying scenario, let's say they buy 15 keywords a month, and then you would use a service like rankpay.com to just buy these 15 keywords, and you see that they're, the average price for these keywords is, say, $16. Now this can vary greatly, so don't take me for any, these numbers are arbitrary just for our discussion. The 297, however, the 297 number is a good price point for doing what we're doing here in terms of bundling the different social media packages and reputation management profile creation. Anyway, the SEO, as you see, comes out to about $577 for these keywords per month, and I list that monthly. It wouldn't hurt you. It actually would probably help you to give separate invoices for one-time pays and split pays versus monthly pays. So you want to have a monthly invoice to give them that they have to pay in full rather than split the keyword cost here. Like I said, I'm just listing the stuff out here for an example. Another thing you can toss in there is monthly employee training and support. So now if they do have, and you'll find clients who will have staff, they just need a direction. You can give them that direction. That makes a big difference to them. You'll definitely come out the hero, that's for sure. So here I lowball a little bit, I say $197, and I think that in my proposal I would list out that would cost, $197 per 2 hours, let's say. So you give them a fairly good deal on what your rate is. And then in a copywriting sense, let's say you want 10 original articles, and you can get articles written for, let's say, $10. Offer them here for $45, so you make a nice little profit there. You see that's auto-calculated. And it'll do that all down the line. Now, if you didn't want to, if you wanted to clean up the line, you just delete what you didn't use. Then it gives you a tally down here at the bottom, and then it divides it by 2. So remember, we're paying 50% to start work, and they have to pay the remaining 50% upon completion. So it tells them exactly here, this is what you paid today, and then it tells you what's remaining once the work is complete. And then I put my notes here on the left, tell them what my standard rate is. I wouldn't actually, you can raise that a little bit, I think, in most markets. 50% deposit again, And then I, put a little bit about here. Some items are fixed costs and maybe due upon signing. You would communicate that with them, or you would make a separate invoice for the monthly items, which I recommend you do. And then let's see, anything else on this? I think we're good to go. If they want to, or if you feel like itemizing, then what you could do is just on a separate sheet, just list out the title of the item or the title description and then itemize everything, provide much more detail if you want. But remember, if you give detail, the more detail you give, you may raise more questions than you're ready to deal with. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing because then it'll teach you to deal with those questions. However, we want to work fast. We want to get this client's check in the door, and then we want to get the work done so we can get the rest. And then we want to move on to the next client or upsell our existing client. Now, I hope this gave you a quick and down and dirty overview on how to do some invoicing. If you have any questions, please contact my support, hotgatesupport.com, and I will answer your questions. Hope to talk to you real soon, folks. Thanks again.